was my dentist who first mentioned the word trigeminal neuralgia to me. I had never heard of it before. I could barely say the word at the time, and then I started doing some research on it. However, it wasn't for a long time afterwards until I was officially diagnosed. Looking back now, I realised that I was eating a lot of painkillers, things off the counter, over-the-counter medications, just to try and take the edge off the pain, not realising that that actually wasn't doing me any good. From the point of the diagnosis was really when I took my first attack, and that it was like a lightning bolt going through my body. It was like something I had never experienced in my life before. Even thinking about it now fills me with dread and fear, the amount of pain that is generated. I used to dread waking up in the morning because the moment my foot hit the floor, it would have started. I was eating less, and the reason for that was I find it difficult to bite into food. So therefore I reduced the amount of food that I was taking. I saw the neurologist, and my neurologist is Dr. Michael Watts, and again I can't speak highly enough of what he did for me. And he said, Janice, I recognise what you have. Your MRI is showing that your brain is healthy, which I was beginning to doubt if it was, but that was a good sign. So there was no tumour, and I wasn't suffering from multiple sclerosis, which was another fear. Normally, immediate treatment at that point would be surgery, something called a microvascular decompression. But unfortunately in Northern Ireland, that surgery isn't available. I wasn't well enough and fit enough to travel, and Dr. Watt realised that. So I was sent to a pain specialist in Coleraine Hospital. After that, obviously I had the numbness to deal with, but I wasn't having the lightning strikes, so you know, it was a bit of a trade-off really. My quality of life still wasn't brilliant, but I have to say it was better than it was. My neurologist said, look, I think you need to get the surgery, and that's when I went to visit a neurosurgeon in England. I had the surgery on the 28th of September 2009, just coming up actually in 5 months. When they did the surgery, they do an incision in the head from here approximately to here. Then they bore a hole through the skull, I suppose a little bit bigger than a 10pp. A few days after the operation, I said I want to come off all medication, which I suppose I took a bit of a risk in saying that, but I believed that the operation had worked, and I just wanted to see if it had. So I came off all medication, and I didn't have any lightning strikes, and to this day I still don't have any lightning strikes. There are probably many more people out there have it than the statistics show, and unfortunately for the vast majority of people there is a misdiagnosis. Trigeminal neuralgia can be very isolating, because you can't go outside when it's wet, when it's windy, when it's cold. You're frightened to speak in a social occasion. You struggle to eat, you struggle to clean your teeth. For quite a while with me, the pain was controlling me. I think through time you learn how to manage the pain a little bit better. Also people in their employment, because they just simply are struggling to cope with simple duties like answering a telephone without the pain striking. Walking, steps can be painful, and day-to-day duties, they get stress then from the workplace, and perhaps they've had to take days off, and that's difficult for their employer to cope with, and then that becomes more stressful for them. So yeah, it can be a spiral, and hence the name, I suppose, suicide disease.